Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cameron Alexander Verge, and I am your host today. And I'd like to welcome all of you to my first ever show. This is hashtag Let's Talk About It. All right, let's talk about it. The Heat take a 3-1 lead last night in an entertaining game versus the Celtics. Are the Celtics done? Maybe. I feel like last night was their opportunity to take control of the series, not just tie the series. I feel like if the Celtics, given last night's circumstances, I feel like if the Celtics win last night, they take control of the series. I'm going to explain that in a second. But Miami, they're up 3-1. They're up 3-1. A lot of people did not see this coming from this team, including me. I thought Miami could be a very good team. I thought they could make the conference finals, but I didn't see them not only making the finals, but look like they're pushing to a quick route. Like if they win the next game, that's 4-1. That's a 5-game series win. And that would make them 12-2 going into the finals? That's ridiculous. I didn't see that coming. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has established himself as a top 5 leader in the NBA. And honestly, I think it's top 3. I think it's LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Chris Paul, whatever order you want to put them in. I do think those are the 3 best leaders in basketball, and I don't even think it's debatable. Everywhere they go, they make teams better than they're supposed to be. And when they leave, those teams fall off. I think that's leadership, because Jimmy Butler doesn't get you with averaging 28, 30 points a game. He can get 14 points and still be the best player in the game. And last night, that's where I kind of thought Miami messed up, because in the fourth quarter, they let Boston come all the way back. They were down. They were up double digits. Jason Tatum has 0 points. And that's why I was saying, if the Celtics can find a way to win after Jason Tatum had a bad 2.5 quarters on 0, that gives them all the confidence in the world. And it shakes Miami's confidence, even though Miami's a confident group. I feel like if you have a double-digit lead and you hold down a superstar like Jason Tatum, you can make a mistake by letting them get back in the game and winning. But it was good Miami shut that door on them. The point is, with Jimmy Butler, usually when they need to close, he's the best player on the floor. And last night he wasn't. Last night he was not. Last night he missed a lot of shots that he usually hits. He missed a few assignments. He didn't make as many plays as I'm accustomed to seeing him make. Like with Jimmy Butler, even if he's not making a shot, you see the assists, you see the rebounds, you see him diving on a loose ball. He just didn't have it last night in the fourth quarter until they needed him most at the free throw line in the last minute. He hit 4 very clutch free throws. But we're not here to talk about Jimmy Butler. If you watched last night's game, then you know the superstar was Tyler Herro. His name is Herro, and that's who he was last night for the Miami Heat. He saved them 37 big points off the bench. That is a 20-year-old rookie with ice in his veins. He's shown it the entire postseason. He was good in the regular season, but once the playoffs started, every time he needed a big shot, he might not be the one to take it, but when he does take it, he hits it. Milwaukee, he hit them clutch threes. Against Indiana, he hit clutch threes. He's hitting buckets here, and now he's taking games over completely. He was the 13th pick. The number 13 pick in the draft. Same pick as Kobe, same pick as Donovan Mitchell, same pick as Devin Booker. Something about that lucky number 13. If you draft there, you get you a star. But let's talk about him. If you look at the draft, the last draft, you got Ja, you got Zion. Other than that, who do you take over Tyler Herro? I think a lot of teams made some mistakes. Can you imagine Tyler Herro playing for the Knicks at the Garden? I know the Knicks weren't the only team that passed on him, but it's fun to make fun of the Knicks, right? Okay. But is this series over? You always give a team with a bunch of shooters like Boston an outside chance, because Boston can erupt next game. Jason Tatum was terrible in game 4, He was terrible in game 4. He could easily turn up next game and go for 40, keep his team alive. The next game is the most important game. Boston cannot think about winning 3 in a row. They can only think about winning game 5. You win game 5, you live to fight another day. And then when you get to game 6, all of the pressure, all of the heat, all puns intended, all of the heat will be on Miami. That's what you want. Because if you get to a game 6, ask Denver. Denver's never dead. So maybe they can keep fighting. But I got Miami in 6. I think Boston wins the next game and Miami closes out in game 6. All right. Lakers Nuggets. That game 4 is tonight. Let's talk about it. The Nuggets convincing game 3 win. I know the Lakers came back, cut it down to 3 points, but that wasn't their game. From the very beginning, it was never their game. Just like in game 2, people are saying the Nuggets should be up 2-1. No. The Lakers stomped on the Nuggets in game 2, and they closed. Even though the Nuggets made it interesting, the Lakers closed. Whoever is supposed to win, wins. The only time you could say this team should have won, this team should have did this, is on 2 occasions. Somebody gets hurt, or the referees take it out of your hands. I hate when the referees take the games out of the players' hands because they work so hard. Let the players decide the game. But in game 2, man, the Lakers have a couple things that made me worry in the third game. One, the whole series they've turned the ball over way too much. They've turned the ball over way too much. But things that really is getting to me is 3-point shooting and rebounding. 44-25. That was the rebounding margin in game 3. Denver won rebounds by 19. You have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Danny Green can rebound. Kyle Kuzma hit the boards. Markeith Morris, hit the rebounds. You got a lot of size on that team. You guys have to rebound. You cannot let the Nuggets out-rebound you by 20. Because one, the Nuggets are already a better 3-point shooting team. Jokic is impossible to guard, and they're at their best when he's being aggressive. But if you're the Lakers, you have to rebound, and you have to make shots. Like, for instance, LeBron James in the last game. If you look at his stats, you see 30 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. I'm going to tell you what I see. In 3 games in this series, he is 4 for 14 from deep, which is like 28%. That's terrible. You have to shoot better. I'm not asking LeBron to be Steph Curry, but if you could shoot about 36%, 40% in that area, it makes your team a whole lot better. Therefore, if you are struggling with the jump shot, they're going to sag off of you and say, shoot it. They're going to put up 3 guys to block you from getting to the paint. They want you to shoot it. Anthony Davis in the last game, 27 points. He shot really efficiently, but the 2 rebounds, no block shots. Come on, AD. What's up with that? You have to be aggressive down low. You have to be. There's no way around it. But let's give credit to the Nuggets. The Nuggets got blown out in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals to the Lakers. It was a 12-point final, but they were getting blown out the whole game. Game 2, it looked like the same was going to happen again, but the Nuggets came back. And I'm going to tell you what changed that game too. Nikola Jokic got aggressive. The Nuggets sometimes, they start to play through their guards, whether if it's Murray, whether if it's Michael Porter Jr. They like to play through the perimeter first. You can't do that. You get that ball to Jokic because nobody on the Laker roster can get to him. Even though it should have been Defensive Player of the Year. AD is a great defender. But Jokic, he makes type of shots that nobody in the world could block. He jumping on 1 and 2 feet and just flipping it up. It's like, who taught you that? Who taught you how to make that shot? So when you got a guy who can do that, you give him the ball, let him be aggressive. The game changed when Jokic took over. When Jokic said, give me the ball, I'm the first option. I'm the man in Denver. Give me the ball. They gave him the ball. He took over. The game was changed from there. The Nuggets came back, almost won, but they lost because Anthony Davis hit 2 clutch shots back to back, including the Kobe game winner. But in game 3, Jokic didn't wait. He didn't wait. If you look at the final stat line, you see Jamal had his numbers. You saw Jeremy Grant had his numbers. You'll see Michael Porter Jr., Monte Morris, like all those guys showed up. But Jokic set the tone. I'm not saying Jokic got to get 40 and 50. All I'm saying is Jokic early in the game has to be aggressive. And if he's aggressive tonight in the first quarter, not the third, not the fourth, get him the ball early. Make sure the Lakers feel him. They will get off to an advantage. And I see they get off to an advantage, and then everybody else gets confident. Same thing with the Lakers. I like the Lakers better when LeBron is aggressive, because when LeBron is aggressive, it makes the whole defense shrink, and they have to come get LeBron or Anthony Davis. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. I wish Jimmy Butler would be more aggressive for the Heat. I mean, everything they're doing is working because they're up 3-1, but I would love to see Jimmy Butler go out there and have a 10-point first quarter. It'll open it up for everybody else. Because when they get to the finals, whether if it's the Lakers or Nuggets, Jimmy's going to have to be aggressive. But as far as Jokic goes, if Jokic gets 10 points and 5 rebounds in the first quarter, that's good news for them. And even if he don't hit the shots, be aggressive. Take 8 shots in the first quarter. I know that's not your game. I know you like to pass. But the only way you beat the Lakers is through you. That is the only way. Jamal Murray is not going to beat this team because if he's the only guy getting it going, you know what the Lakers are going to do? They're going to start trapping him at half court like they did Damian Lillard, like they did James Harden. They're going to do that. So Jokic has to impose his will. All right. Next up, let's talk about the Clippers. Actually, let's talk about the Clippers. Just really quick. I know the Clippers are finished. I know they got beat. But there's some interesting news that just came out a few days ago. It said that the multiple role players from the Clippers say that they believe they're just as good as Paul George. Me personally, I call BS. Paul George is the clear second best player on the Clippers. Is he the second most valuable? I don't know. When I look at the most valuable players on the Clippers, I look at Kawhi first. But I also think the role players are just as valuable. But they're not as good. You know, you get what I'm going? But I do believe that that's a sign of no leadership. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't say Paul George is on a level of LeBron, Kawhi, AD. But Paul George is like on the level with a guy like Klay Thompson. Klay, I think, is better. But what I'm saying is he's on that level of maybe he isn't top 5, but he's in that 10 to 15 range where he's a really, really good player. He deserves his respect. If your teammates don't respect you, that tells you that your leadership skills are terrible. And I get it. The Clippers won almost 50 games last year. They went to the playoffs and they pushed the Warriors 6 games without you or Kawhi. So you come in here with your ego like you the king and Kawhi came in here with the crown. But then Paul George is like acting like, you know, he's that guy, playoff P, all this other stuff. And they're like, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear no playoff P. We want you to perform. And based on the playoffs, he didn't show up. Not when they needed him most. The only guy, actually nobody on the Clippers was consistent. Nobody was there day in, day out. And I feel like they have a locker room issue. I don't think the Clippers have a talent issue. The Clippers, talent-wise, they have everything they need. But they have a case of maybe they have too many guys who want to be the big dog. They have too many guys who are extremely, extremely talented. And too many guys that could be the number 1 on a bunch of teams. Marcus Morris was averaging 20 points. Yes, for the Knicks, but he was still averaging 20 points. Lou Williams he's averaging 20 points with this team. Imagine what Lou Williams could do on the team when they give him the ball and say, go get it. He could average 25 points a game. Lou Williams could be like how Monte Ellis was on the bad Warriors team. Monte was getting 25, 30, 40 points every single night. When Jamal Crawford was on bad teams, he's getting 30, 40 every night. Lou Williams could do that. He can. But he ain't going to win. He ain't going to win. Reggie Jackson was in Detroit getting buckets. He wasn't winning. That's what you got to look at. If you, at your best, Montrezl Harrell averaged 18, 19 a game. But my point is that you getting your points going to help you guys win? Sometimes you got to sacrifice. They always said the Clippers have more bodies. They have more, more depth than the Lakers. But what the Lakers had, the Clippers didn't have. The Lakers got a bunch of guys who know their role. Rondo knows his job. Danny, KCP, they're as inconsistent as these guys are. They know what their job is. Dwight Howard didn't come in saying, hey, let me post up. Dwight Howard came in and said, I'm crashing the board. I'm playing defense. I'm attacking the rim. I'm playing mind games. This is what I'm doing. He didn't come in saying, give me the ball. The Clippers got a bunch of guys who want the ball. So when you got Paul George going 4 for 15 in the closeout, Kawhi 6 for 22 in the closeout, at least Kawhi gets a certain level of respect because he is a 2-time champion. But when you look at Paul George, what exactly have you done? What exactly have you done? Yes, he went to 7 games against Miami. But even in that series, Paul George, as great as he wasn't putting up amazing numbers. He had a great run against LeBron. But let's talk about the coaching. Frank Vogel, who's now coaching the Lakers, he led that team. Frank Vogel is one that instilled the systems. Frank Vogel is who put the defense down. And also, I think Frank Vogel, if he wins a championship this year, we're going to have a discussion on who's better, Frank or Doc. Frank's never had this much talent. Doc has this much talent every single year and has won championship 12 years ago. And of course, you guys know, because, guys like KG, Kendrick Perkins, those guys, they live on that championship. They're going to tell you every other week. They're going to tell you that they got a championship. I'm not even going to finish second. That's kind of wrong. But they're going to tell you every chance they get, I got a championship. Every chance they get, I got a championship. So they're gonna make you remember that. But it was 12 years ago, man. Y'all got one with that loaded team full of Hall of Famers. Y'all had young Rondo. Think about that. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he had an interesting post yesterday. I kind of want to touch that because a lot of people were upset about the fact that he had the video where he kind of compared himself to Dream and Michael. And I get it. He probably looked up to those guys. Those guys probably got him into basketball. Giannis is what, 26? So yeah, he probably grew up at the tail end of Michael and Dream's career, fading into the Shaq and Kobe era. But either way, if you look at Dream wears 34. Maybe Giannis wears 34 because of Dream. And Jordan is Jordan. Everybody knows Michael Jordan, right? But I think the problem with it is Dream and Michael are champions. And I get it. Giannis is young. Giannis not only is he young, he just became a superstar 2 years ago. This is like his second full year of superstardom. And this year was his first year of, we expect you to be the best player. We expect you to be the best player in the world. We expect you to win a championship. It was the first year of that. So I think criticism is a little hard on him. Because we look at a lot of people compare him, say where LeBron was at his age or younger. LeBron's in a different planet. LeBron was 22 years old in NBA Finals. He's different. Let's not hold Giannis to LeBron standards. But I can tell you one thing that Giannis is going through that all young great players go through. He's in that honeymoon phase of he is the NBA's golden child. When I say that, I mean there's every few years a new star comes along. And they don't put pressure on him. They don't heap the hype on him. He can do no wrong in their eyes. Kobe had that run back in the day until he had his own issues off the court, on the court with Shaq, off the court in Colorado, obviously. But, other guys, LeBron kind of had that. LeBron had the expectation, but LeBron didn't really start getting vilified until he won his second MVP. Now it's like, all right, Brian, you got the MVPs, you got this, you got that, what you gonna do, right? Steph Curry. Steph Curry came onto the scene and the whole world lit up and loved him. Steph Curry, it took him losing that 3-1 lead before people said, hold on, Steph. You only won last year because Kyrie and Kevin Love was hurt. You got to step up. And then they got Kevin Durant. So now you look at it like, okay, well, maybe Steph, he got to do something on his own without KD. Even with KD was a guy like, oh my God, he's the Slim Reaper. He's the Durantula. He's this, he's that. He's the best scorer ever. You blew a 3-1 lead. You went to Golden State, joined a 73-win team to win. But this is what guys are doing now to avoid that criticism. Because I feel like players have a 5 or 6 year window of being a really, really good player before the world collapses and says, hold on, man. Y'all got to do something. Like even with Kawhi Leonard, this is the first time Kawhi's ever been expected to win a championship. The only reason why Kawhi isn't getting dragged as much as he should be is because he has 2. So I feel like Giannis, he has 1 more year under this current contract. Once he re-signs a new deal, whether if it's in Milwaukee, if it's in Miami, if it's in Golden State, if it's anywhere, that's when people are going to really start jumping on Giannis and like really riding his case and trying to criticize and hold him accountable. Because right now it's like, okay, but his second best player is Chris Middleton, while the Lakers got AD or something like that, or Paul George is with Kawhi, stuff like that. That's what people are going to say. And Harden is with Westbrook. So those guys deserve more criticism than the guy who has to trust Eric Bledsoe, and Bledsoe disappears all the time. But that's my point on Giannis. Giannis is a great player. He deserved MVP. Defensive Player of the Year, not so much, but hey, he got it. And that's what I'm saying. He's in that stage of where he can do no wrong. Anthony Davis is in that stage where now it's expected for you to do this. is expected for you to go win that championship. You're with LeBron. LeBron, you're with AD. We expect you to go out there and win. And I feel like that's kind of what Giannis has not hit yet. Giannis has not let Giannis go to Miami, go play with Jimmy Butler and Bam and Tyler and all those guys. Then you gonna feel it. He gonna feel it, because then they gonna treat him exactly like they treated Bron back in the day 10 years ago. All right, next up, that's what we have for basketball, because we only got one game tonight, Lakers and Nuggets. I do think the Lakers bounce back. I think the Lakers hit the boards a lot harder. I think they find a way to win. I do feel like even if Denver wins, I still got the Lakers in control, just because of the fact that I gotta see LeBron lose 4 times before I believe he's going to lose 4 times. You feel me? He's one of those guys for me. But I got the Lakers winning tonight, and then the pressure's on, because you know the Nuggets are the 3-1 kids. So we gonna see what happens. All right, let's talk about some NFL football, shall we? We have 16 matchups this week, so let's dive into a few of them. All right, so we're going to start off with the Buccaneers and Broncos. So the Buccaneers are a 6-point favorite. They are 1-1 after losses to the Saints and wins versus the Panthers. The Broncos are 0-2. They lost to the Texans. No, lost to the Titans and lost last week to the Steelers. I think the Broncos have a solid defense, but they can't score. I got the Bucs winning that game by 10. All right. Lions and Cardinals. I got the Lions big because the Lions are not the Lions, the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals really big. The Cardinals have Kyler Murray. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They're super explosive. I got them winning big. Chargers, Panthers. Chargers are 7-point favorite against the Panthers. That game is in LA at SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. 7-point favorite. First of all, we're going to send out our thoughts and prayers to Tyrod Taylor, who went into the doctor's office for a cracked rib, and they was giving him painkillers so he can keep playing and give him the injection. But the doctor actually punctured his lung with the injection. I guess the needle went too far. It went to the wrong placement, or something happened where they punctured his lung, and now he's out indefinitely. But the Chargers' backup quarterback, rookie Justin Herbert, he showed out, man. He almost beat the Chiefs. He looked really good, man. I got them winning against the Panthers. Colts and Jets. Colts. It's the Jets. Well, it's the Colts. All right. Philly, Bengals. Oh, that game has the potential because the Eagles are struggling. Carson Wentz, for some reason, is going backwards after being a possible MVP candidate. He should bounce back there at home, but Cincinnati has some talent. Joe Burrow is throwing that ball all over the field. They can't defend. They have no defense, so maybe Philly gets the edge in that one. But it's a must-win for the Eagles, because if Carson Wentz loses another one, he's going to be on the hot seat. And don't forget, they drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. He may be ready. We'll see. I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Niners and Giants. Niners lost a lot of players last week. They got 6 or 8 starters out right now, including quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. But then the Giants just lost Saquon Barkley for the year. So it's the injury bowl, people. I'm going 49ers just because. Vikings-Titans, that is a great game. That's going to be a slug-it-out type of game, low scoring. I got the Titans on the road, 21-17. The Washington football team and the Cleveland Browns. Oh, this is going to be a clown fest, right? You got the football team. You got the Browns. 2 laughing stocks to the whole NFL going head-to-head. But the Browns are a 7-point favorite. I'll take that. I think Odell gets another touchdown. Bears, Falcons. Must win for the Falcons. They're at home. And I got the Falcons not only because I think they're a better team, but because of the fact that after last week, they lost a 20-point lead, and then they had the circle of union. They had the united circle around the football on the onside kick instead of just falling on the onside kick. You learn that in Pop Warner. If the ball is loose on the kickoff, you fall on it. You don't give them a chance, period. All right, but that's embarrassing. And a moment like that can either break your team in half or it can bring you together. I'm hoping it brings the Falcons together and they fight and they beat the Bears at home. Or else it's going to get ugly in Atlanta. People getting fired, jobs being lost, players getting benched. It's coming if they lose to the Bears on Sunday. And now let's get into Thursday night football. That's actually tonight. You got the Rams. I mean, the Rams. You got the Jaguars. You got the Dolphins. That's the Florida matchup. That's a really good matchup because the Dolphins have a lot of talent. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's really old. He's been who he has been his whole career, just a stabilizer until the young quarterback's ready to take over. But the Jaguars, Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew, a quarterback that nobody had faith in. He looks really good, man. He's completing over 65% of his passes. He has 115 passer rating, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I'm going to tell you what's a shock right now. The Jaguars got rid of Leonard Fournette, and their running game is ranked number 12. Extremely, extremely impressive. I got the Jaguars. And before the show, I picked out 5 games. Was it 5? I picked out a handful of games. I think it was 5 or 6 that I feel are my primetime matchups. Games that I feel like people should watch. Games that I think hold a lot of weight going forward. So we'll get into that right now. Let's talk about it. First up, you got the Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens. That is the Monday night game. The Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite at home. It is a matchup of the last 2 MVPs. In 2019, last season, in week 3, the Chiefs won 33-28. But it was a weird game because the Chiefs scored 23 points in the second quarter, and they only scored 10 points for the rest of the game. As far as the Ravens only had 15 in the fourth quarter, and they only had 13 for the rest of the game. The score was 30 to 13 going into the fourth quarter, and the Ravens won the fourth quarter 15-3 to make it 33-28. So the game probably wasn't even that close. It wasn't that close, I'm sorry. But it was in Kansas City. They had the crowd. They had Arrowhead Stadium. This is a tough game. Tyreek Hill didn't play. And the Chiefs, they didn't really run the ball well that game. And let's talk about Lamar Jackson that game. Lamar Jackson last year, 22 out of 43, 267 yards, no touchdowns. He had less than 50 running yards. He has to be better. If you want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, Lamar Jackson has to be the best player on the field. He has to, I'm not going to say outduel Patrick Mahomes, but you got to do better than 49% completion. You have to, 46% completion. That's unacceptable. You have to complete 60+%, and you have to run for over 70 yards against this team because the Chiefs' defense is not that strong, but the Chiefs are going to get their points. The Chiefs, you can bookmark them for a lot of points. Also, the Chiefs are going to be motivated because last week they almost lost to the Chargers. They had to come back from 10+ points in the fourth quarter. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be ready. Tyreek Hill did not play last season against the Ravens. He's going to play this game. And now the Chiefs have a running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie out of LSU. He is a sleeper. He is somebody that people are not expecting to be great, but he's fast, he's strong, he's shifty, and he doesn't even need to get 150 yards. He just needs to be just enough to take pressure off of Patrick Mahomes. If the Ravens want to win, they need to get hits on Mahomes and make Mahomes throw it quickly. Because Mahomes, he's at his best when he gets time, and he can use that cannon to throw it 60 yards down to one of those 4-3 wide receivers. All right, it's a Baltimore home game. I'm going with the Ravens by 5. All right, my second primetime matchup is the Cowboys and Seahawks. Yes, I think the Seahawks may be a better team than the Cowboys, but the Cowboys just came off an emotional comeback win, and I feel like we're going to see who the Cowboys really are this week. We're going to see if that win was a fluke or if they are the team that lost in week 1 to the Rams. They're going to Seattle. They're a 5-point underdog. Right now, the Russell Wilson's looking like the MVP. He has 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. The 1 interception that he has, it bounced off of his receiver's hands. It wasn't a Russell just threw a pick. The receiver dropped the ball. He has over 700 yards, and he's killing it. He has the running back, Chris Carson, Carlos Hyde backing him up. You have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. They have a squad. They have Greg Olsen. They have a really good team. And finally, Russell has an offensive line for the first time in his entire career. The knock on Russell was always he could play, but he don't have an O-line, or he don't have receivers, or his running back is getting old. Now they have the entire offense figured out. You know what their problem is? Ironically, the defensive line. Last week against the Patriots, man, Cam Newton sat back there all day. Cam Newton didn't even have to run. He just sat back there and looked like Tom Brady. Pick him apart, pick him apart, pick him apart. Seattle's secondary is pretty solid. They're young, but they're talented, led by Jamal Adams. But that front line, no good. No good. And then they just lost the best pass rusher, Bruce Irvin, towards ACL. So they're in trouble. Right now, this sounds crazy when you talk about the Seahawks. They are dead last in defense. Dead last in defense. 32 teams. They are last. Dead last in defense. Dead last in passing defense. The passing number is not because of the secondary. It is because you give professional quarterbacks 5 seconds to throw. They're going to find somebody. That's just how it works. And that's interesting because the Cowboys are currently third in passing offense, second in total offense. So that Cowboy offense, they got weapons. You got Amari, you got CD, you got Gallup, you got Zeke Elliott, you got what's the backup running back name? Tony Pollard, that's his name. You got the offensive line. And Dak Prescott is a really good quarterback. That's just the truth. He's a really good quarterback. Cowboys can win this game. If they do win, then we're going to have to look and see, okay, they have a talented roster. Well, they do have a talented roster. We know that. But can they put it together? We're going to find out this Sunday against the Seahawks. All right, next up on our list of matchups, Packers and Saints at New Orleans. Saints are a 3-point favorite, but why? Based on what I've seen from Drew Brees, I don't think they're the favorite over the Packers. I know they're at home, but them crazy fans in New Orleans ain't gonna be there. It's gonna be an empty stadium. And currently, I watched the Monday Night Football game against the Raiders. Drew Brees missed a lot of easy throws. A lot of throws that Drew Brees has been making for 20 years, he was missing. All right. And I get it. He's going to get older. He's going to start missing throws. They're still without Michael Thomas, but that's not why they lost. Sean Payton, he has to do a better job play calling. Alvin Kamara had 13 carries, 79 yards. That's 6.5 yards a carry. Give Alvin the ball. With the Raiders defense, in week 1, the Raiders defense was shutting down McCaffrey. But then their middle linebacker, Nick Kwiatkowski, went down. And the next thing you know, McCaffrey's ripping them up. Monday night, they did not have Kwiatkowski. Kamara was zip all through the defense, and they stopped giving him the ball. They made him a wide receiver. Hand the ball to Alvin Kamara. If you want to win, hand him the ball. He is a weapon. He's one of the best weapons in the entire NFL. Give him the ball. But as far as the Packers go, the Packers are first in total offense, first in rushing offense. They're first in scoring, and they're, fourth in passing? And their defense is ranked 10th. I know it's only 2 games. But the last time they had a top 5 offense and a top 10 defense was 2010 when they won the Super Bowl. Everybody, well, look out for them Packers. Aaron Rodgers is on a mission. This year they have Devontae Adams. They have Aaron Jones. They have Lazard. They have Valdez-Scantling. Those guys are stepping up. Before the season, I thought Lazard and Scantling were going to just be just another player. But they're playing a role. They're doing a good job. Aaron Jones looks like the best running back in the league. Devontae looks like the best receiver in the league. Aaron Rodgers looks like the best quarterback in the league again, along with Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. The Packers can make things interesting. Matt LaFleur is a great coach, and he's doing a great job with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson fighting for MVP right now, everybody. But with that being said, I like that Saints defense. I like them a lot. What I do want to see is I want to see Cam Jordan jump off the screen more. Cam Jordan is one of those guys who you compare to the Khalil Macks, to the Aaron Donalds, to the Myles Garrett. He's in that conversation. So last Monday, when the Raiders lost their right tackle and the right tackle's backup, they had to move Denzel Good from the guard position to the tackle position. For those who understand football, that is an impossible switch to make. It's difficult. You go from pushing up to coming back. The stance is different. The footwork is different. The person you're defending is different. And Cam Jordan didn't make a play. Cam Jordan did not take advantage of that obvious mismatch that he had. He should have dominated that matchup, and he should have gotten to Derek Carr. Derek Carr was sacked 3 times in the first quarter. After that, 0. And the Raiders were down 3 offensive linemen because Richie Incognito went out in the first quarter as well. So that Saints front line has to reassure themselves. The secondary is really good. The linebacking group is really good. But we're going to see. I got the Packers winning at New Orleans. I was thinking New Orleans before, but the Packers are on a roll. They're probably the best team in the NFL right now. I know it's only 2 weeks, but they're on a mission. Texans and Steelers. Let's talk about it. The Texans are 0-2 on their record, but I will not hold that against them because they started the season against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. You don't get a tougher beginning than that. Yes, the offense can be better. I get it. They're saying we have new pieces. We have to do this, we have to do that. At the end of the day, nobody's going to care that you had a tough schedule. This season is about one thing. Houston, you traded DeAndre Hopkins. You don't trade DeAndre Hopkins. You just don't. You hold on to him until he asks to leave. DeAndre wanted to stay in Houston. You guys traded him for a draft pick and David Johnson. You said you wanted to improve your run game. Your run game is ranked 30th. There's 32 teams in the NFL, and your run offense is ranked number 30. So if that's what you traded DeAndre Hopkins for, you made a mistake. Your total offense is 24, which means the passing attack is probably around 15. That balances out, but still, you have to be better. Deshaun Watson has all the talent in the world. You have to be better. This is an interesting game for them because although they're 0-2, the Steelers, I believe, is 2-0, and the Steelers have the number 2 defense. And guess what? The number 1 rushing defense. So guess who's not going to run well against the Pittsburgh Steelers? That's right, the Houston Texans in their 30th ranked run game. They traded DeAndre Hopkins. They made a mistake. They should have never done that. So it's only going to get tougher for them. Another matchup I love a lot. I love the Bills. The Bills and Rams. The Bills and Rams is a good matchup. Those are two teams that are 2-0. That's LA versus New York. Even though you don't really think Buffalo Bills, you don't really think New York, but they're the only team who's actually located in New York. You know what I'm saying? The Jets and the Giants play in New Jersey. Buffalo is the team that plays in Buffalo, New York. They're 2-0. The Rams are 2-0. The Buffalo Bills, they beat the Dolphins and the Jaguars, I believe. And then the Rams, they beat the Cowboys and Eagles. So those are two teams who beat teams that aren't really great, but winning is winning, and winning in the NFL is hard to do. So I'm going to give them their props for that. Josh Allen, 729 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 122.9 passer rating. That is amazing. When Josh Allen got drafted, they picked the Browns picked Baker Mayfield over Sam Darnold and Josh Allen. Josh Allen slid because they said that Josh couldn't throw. That he wasn't accurate. He said he had a strong arm, no accuracy. Right now, he has proven doubters wrong, and I'm happy for him. The Bills are 2-0 right now. Their overall offense is number 3. Their passing offense is number 1. Passing offense is number 1. Rushing is 22. They can get better at that. And their defense is number 5. They might be legit, but then again, they probably just played the Dolphins. The Rams, they're 5th in total yards. Jared Goff, he's proven doubters wrong. Everybody said when the Rams traded, when they got rid of Todd Gurley, and they got rid of Brandon Cooks, and they got rid of, what was the running back, Anderson. They got rid of a lot of players from last season on offense. People were doubting, saying, well, Jared Goff can't carry the team. Right now, Jared Goff, he has 40 out of 58. That's an amazing number. 108 passing rating, 542 yards. And the Rams have the number 9 passing offense in the league. Number 3 running offense. You lost Todd Gurley. You have the number 3 running offense. Looks like Todd McVay and the Rams know exactly what they're doing. That's going to be a statement game because both of those teams are playing really well. I was wrong. The Bills don't play in Buffalo, New York. They play in Orchard Park, New York. But they are the Buffalo Bills, and they play in New York. All right? Stephon Diggs. That's who's changed Buffalo because Josh Allen's been there. The running backs have been there. The team's been there. Stephon Diggs, you basically gave the Bills a top 10 wide receiver, and he is on a mission. He is hot. He is killing it through 2 games. He has 16 catches. 2 games, 16 catches. Yeah, 16. That is a lot of catches in 2 games. That is 8 catches a game. He has 14 average, meaning every catch is an average of 14.9 yards. It's almost 15 yards a catch. He is killing it. My last matchup that I'm looking at, Raiders at Patriots. The Patriots are the 6-point favorite, which I think is a little high. I think they get that because they're at Foxborough, but once again, no fans. And I'm pretty sure they're not snowing in Boston right now. Raiders are 2-0. Let's start with the Raiders. The Raiders are 2-0. They have all the talent in the world. In my opinion, they have as much talent as any of the top teams. They have one issue. The talent is young. The Raiders have the 11th youngest roster in the entire league. That is a tough ask when you expect to win, right? But I think it's going to hurt the defense more than anything else because the captain on offense is Derek Carr. Derek Carr is in his 8th year, 7th year, something like that. In his 3rd year with John Gruden. This is his longest tenured head coach. Derek Carr has never been with the same coach for 3 years or more. Jack Del Rio was 2.5 years. John Gruden is in his 3rd year. But John Gruden isn't going anywhere. He has a 10-year contract. Derek Carr, 73.5 completion percentage. 114.9 pass rating. He's 5th in completion percentage, 8th in rating, 521 yards, 4 touchdowns. And for everybody who's saying Derek Carr, all he does is check down, he's averaging 7.7 yards per throw. That's top 10 in the NFL. That's top 15 in the NFL. I'm sorry. It's top 15. He's doing a lot better than he was last year. Of course, last year he checked down a lot because he didn't have any receivers. Now you gave him Ruggs, you gave him Edwards. Darren Waller's getting better. Renfro's getting better. You got Nelson Aguilar, Zay Jones. They got some weapons. Josh Jacobs is running the ball like a madman. He's just bowling teams over. He's a monster. I'm loving Josh Jacobs. You got Devontae Booker. You got Jalen Richard. That offense is reloaded. And the offensive line, even though the offensive line has a lot of injuries, it is a tough, well-coached group. Shout out to Tom Cable coaching the offensive line. John Gruden's offense is working. The defense, on the other hand, it needs work. It needs a lot of work. Gave up 30 points to Charlotte, the Carolina Panthers. It gave up 24 to the Saints. But I'll give you this. The Saints had 17 at halftime, 10 in the first quarter. After the second quarter, they had 7 points. The Raiders won the second half 14-7. And after the Raiders went down 10-0, actually after the Raiders went down 17-7, they won the rest of the game 24-7. They made adjustments. They're getting better. But those Patriots. The Patriots are 1-1. They lost last week to Seattle. Russell Wilson tore them up for 5 touchdowns. But the Patriots do have a good defense. They have the best cornerback in the league. They have a good young secondary. The Patriots' biggest downfall is that they had 10 key players opt out due to COVID-19. And I feel like they did it before they knew the NFL had a direction. Because if I was an NFL player, I probably would have done it too. Because I was one of the main guys saying I don't believe the NFL has a plan and a sense of direction of where to go. But Cam Newton, people are saying Cam Newton's looking like the MVP from 2016. Wrong. Cam Newton looks like Auburn Cam. He looks like the guy that was just too big, too strong, too good for everybody who couldn't wait to get to the NFL. That's what he looks like. Cam Newton, they're 1-1, but he has 71% completion. Never in his career has he completed this high. I believe his career high for completion for a season is 62%. That's Bill Belichick, man. He's sitting back there and just zipping it, looking like Tom Brady with a stronger arm. 71% completion, 96.8 passer rating, 552 yards, 122 rushing yards. So Cam Newton has almost 700 total yards, 5 total touchdowns. The only reason why his passer rating is low is because he has 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. He's been dominating in the end zone with the ground. The Patriots score most of the touchdowns on the ground. But Cam Newton himself, the way he's dictating the game, the way he's managing the offense, the way he's leading those guys, he is dominating. And I'm a huge fan of what he's doing. But much like the Raiders, the Patriots have question marks on defense. The Patriots have a very good defense as far as like who they have on the team. But once again, they have a lot of guys opt out. The starting safety, Patrick Chung, opt out. I believe Dante Hightower opted out. I believe one of their best pass rushers actually retired. They traded Jamie Collins to the Cardinals last season. And then now Collins ended up going to Detroit. But regardless, the defense has to prove themselves. Raiders are 2-0. Patriots are 1-1. I do think the Patriots need this game more than the Raiders do. So, also, the one thing I left out, this is John Gruden's first time coaching against the Patriots with the Raiders since the Tuck Rule game. I guarantee you John Gruden wants his revenge. John Gruden is going to call some trick shots. He's going to he's going to take some risks, man. And what the Patriots are going to try to do, they're going to try, because the Raiders run a lot of quick throws, a lot of crossing routes, a lot of quick outs, a lot of pitches. They try to move fast. So the Patriots are going to bring their defense close to the line of scrimmage, try to press. This is the game for Henry Ruggs III, rookie out of Alabama. This is his game to take over. Because when a team crowds the offensive line, that means Henry Ruggs, 4.27 speed, zooms behind the secondary. Derek Carr has to make the throws. He's missed a couple of times on Ruggs. Ruggs gets open every game. Derek Carr, they're not on the same page yet. But when they get on the same page, you're going to see something very special down there in Vegas. Who am I picking for the game? Patriots are at home, so I'm going to rock with them, but only by 3. I think the Raiders have a really good chance to win this game, but I got the Patriots by 3. I think Belichick is going to come up with something to affect the Raiders' offense, and they figure it out later. All right, so yeah. On another note, this is going to be a great matchup. Raiders-Patriots, aside from whoever I think is going to win, there is one biggest loser that we can all agree on. That's Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown could have been a Raider. He messed that up. He was a Patriot. He messed that up. Can you imagine Derek Carr in this offense with Antonio Brown and Henry Ruggs and Darren Waller? Could you imagine Cam Newton with that cannon throwing the ball to Antonio Brown? But he had to mess that up. But I guess he's busy with his new job, making videos, home videos in his gym. If you know, then you know. Anyway, he's a loser. He's a clown. He messed everything up. All right, guys, I have one last segment, and this is for you guys, all right? It is called 5 by 5. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys a question, all right? The 5 best answers gets $5 from me to their Cash App or whatever money sharing they use. It's basically for me to show my appreciation that you guys are watching, that you guys are supporting, because you don't have to. There's a lot of things you guys can do in your day rather than spend a half hour or 40 minutes or whatever with me. But since you guys did, I'm going to show you guys appreciation. 5 by 5. First 5 people, best 5 answers that I like the most gets $5. All right, you ready for the question? Let's do it. I'm going to start off simple. This week is my first ever show. Since it's a sports show, you guys tell me who is your favorite athlete of all time and why. All right? Put that in the comments. Send it to my social media, whatever. Favorite athlete and why. The best 5 answers gets $5. All right? Thank you guys so much. This is a wrap. It's been a blast pointing out my opinions and telling you guys how I feel about some things. Hope you guys stick around and watch more. I'll be back in a few days. Love you guys. Peace.